I'm glad that we finally found some time to get together. Your schedule and my schedule seems to have been crazy lately.
Yes, I'm happy we could do this meeting. I know my daughter Jamie is in your class, and is she doing good in school, or what's up with that?
Well, overall, I have to say Jamie's doing very well. We still have some of her
Good.
IEP goals to work on, particularly related to writing skills. But other than that, she's doing really well at this point. Not sure what would you like me to address first? Do you want me to talk about the English issues, or would you like me to give you more information about the regular classroom work?
Just the general classroom work. But I am curious about these writing problems. Is it separate than the English classes?
Writing happens throughout the day. We do have our specified time to work on their essays. They've been doing those personal stories and some creative writing. That's a specific time in the day that we do. That's where some of the issues are coming up. Now, but writing occurs throughout the day. Certainly within the social studies class, there are some reports to be written. Those things she's typing at home and bringing in. So it's not just the handwriting issue, it's more about grammar and punctuation in particular.
Okay, so her weaknesses are really just in punctuation. I know for myself, I understand that. But how can I help her with her homework or something like that?
Well, punctuation is often a problem. Actually, it's a problem for lots of kids. In Jamie's case, it's periods and commas seem to be the hardest part. I'm assuming part of that is because she doesn't hear English, and so she doesn't naturally sense where pauses are in a sentence or where the end of a sentence is. I don't know if that has something to do with the translation of the interpreter, or if it's just, I'm not sure why. I have asked the teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing to come in and talk to me a little bit about it and see if there's something else I can do in class time.
Good, please do that. Maybe the interpreter should be actually signing the punctuation, or the interpreter and the deaf hard of hearing teacher can discuss this.
Oh, that's a really good question. It's my understanding, and again, I'm still learning about American Sign Language and stuff, but it's my understanding that punctuation, like in written punctuation, doesn't occur in sign language, like it's not overt. The interpreter doesn't sign it. Isn't that right?
Right. But if it's related to the English class, then maybe if that's the whole point is the punctuation, then maybe the interpreter should use that while they're signing. But you're right, in ASL they don't use any sort of punctuation while they're signing. But maybe in the classroom, the interpreter should add the punctuation at the end.
As far as what the interpreter is signing, on the IEP it says that the interpreter is supposed to be working in American Sign Language. I'm not really in the position to evaluate that, so we have, part of that is the job of the teacher of deaf and hard of hearing in our school to come in at least she comes in twice during the year to sit in the classroom for a little bit and watch the interpreter.
Oh, that's not enough.
I'm sorry?
I was just saying twice a year is not enough. I feel the deaf, hard of hearing teacher should come at least twice a quarter, a semester, maybe 6 times a year. So my daughter could learn a lot from them.
Well, I certainly can talk to her about that. One of the other things that I understand is helpful is that there's 2 other interpreters working in this school, and my understanding is that they help each other out some too. So I think that's helping too. Other than that, yeah, I'll have to sort of check on exactly how do we know they're doing American Sign Language. The interpreters, I think she has her certification, so my understanding is that she's qualified to be doing the job. I don't know if that has something to do with the writing or not, what exactly they're signing. But I did want to comment on your earlier point about whether or not during those writing exercises the interpreter needs to be more clear about putting in punctuation. That's certainly something I can talk to the interpreter about what is she doing now, what might be the way that can work. And then again, like I said, I've got the teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing coming in, and she will certainly talk to me about what other strategies I can have, or I can use during those writing exercises.
Oh, good. Yes, please do that. That's good. Have you already finished discussing the writing?
There's one other little, I think it's probably the same issue. She sometimes confuses tense, like past tense, future tense. Like, there are a lot of verbs that are really difficult. Things like go, went, gone, where the word itself changes depending on the tense. So I'm just going to employ the same strategy. Ask the teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing to talk to me a little bit more about what we can do to focus on that. Other than that, though, her comprehension seems to be just fine. She's able to read stories and answer questions about the stories. She's able to summarize stories. Get what are the main points. She's able to do that. I think she's doing pretty well overall. Just a few things with the writing we need to work on.
Oh, that's a good point. Forgot to mention that at home every night, I try to encourage her to read her book before she goes to bed. And we'll sign it together. And maybe I should sign the tenses to her, like past tense, or because in sign language you would just say, yesterday I went, but you'd use the same sign. But in English, it would change the tense. Maybe when I'm reading the book, when I sign it to her, I'll sign it in ASL and then I'll fingerspell the word, whether it be went, go, or gone, depending on the tense. I'll make sure I'll practice that with her.
Well, I'm sure you doing reading with her at home and working on tense issues and punctuation, for that matter, would be really, really helpful. I didn't really realize that sign language was using the same sign for different tenses and that the tenses were identified in a different way. But I'm very happy to hear that you're encouraging reading at home. That's not, a lot of parents don't do that, and it really makes a huge difference in all of their classes. If they're used to reading, if they're used and comfortable with reading, and if they read a lot of different kind of subjects or different kinds of books, so storybooks and history books or biographies, more variety they can get at home, the better off it's going to be here at school.